Everybody, this is Tim. Hope you all doing well today. It's Thursday, the 3rd of July. I hope y'all are having a good week, and hopefully y'all have a long 3-day weekend or taking off today as well. I'm trying some different things, as you can see. Uh, Here, I'm using the WeatherWise app today to kind of show some stuff. Trying to figure out what fits best and for me to be able to present appropriately here. Weatherwise has a lot of good features and it's easy to use, so I think I'm going to start using it um, to show some more data. Oops, sorry about that. Anyway, zooming out a little bit, we have these different threats on the map here. We have fog advisory in North Carolina, Virginia, some heat advisories up in North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Montana. Red flag warnings out west here: Idaho, Utah, Nevada, Oregon. Just low humidity, high winds. Flash flood watches, uh, and some different marine warnings like hurricane warnings down here for tropical storm warning, hurricane warnings for Flossie, which is forecast to weaken and become a tropical storm and eventually a depression in the coming days. Down to its southwest, there's a 80% chance of another tropical system forming in the Pacific. It's very active, I'll tell you. I haven't seen it this active in a long time. Let's see what this is here. Special marine warning. And our potential tropical system off the southeast coast is up to now 50-50 chance of developing in the next 7 days. I think it's pretty likely those chances are going to continue to increase as we get closer in the next couple of days. And I'll show you why I think that's the case. I talked about this yesterday, or I made a post about it. You have 3 different ensembles that run every day. European ensemble, which is the ECWF model, which is consists of 31 total members, and 30 of those, the first one is the operational, and the other 30 are, 50. And so 50 of those are, let's go to the EPS. 50 of those are perturbed in different ways under different initial conditions to echo the uncertainty with models, given there's always some unknowns in the state of the atmosphere. Just because the physics are just too hard for models to resolve that closely, and other things too. But anyway, European around the 5th and 6th shows a pretty weak low pressure area, not really closed off, kind of sort of there, but closes off just a little bit. 6th and 7th, and kind of weakens along the coast there. The GFS is the American model, and it has 20 members that are ensemble members of one operational model. So you can see different numbers here represent each model run. All of them are showing something. Almost all of them are there, but they're just really spread out, not really focused as much as the European was. And the last one is the super ensemble, which consists of about 100 members total. And it shows something in that area too. Again, not very intense. So I think if the trends continue, there's probably going to be something developed out there. But I don't. It's not going to be very strong. But that doesn't mean there won't be a lot of rain and some gusty winds along the coast. So, talking about that, let's look at what the WPC, Weather Prediction Center, has to say about um, excessive rainfall. This is one of the maps they use. There's a bunch of different ones, but this is the easiest to get to here. Slight, moderate, slight risk in the desert southwest, which is moisture coming up from where Barry was, and also this is not uncommon to have a lot of rain in the desert southwest this time of year. Monsoon season, they call it. Along the southwest coast of Florida, along the southeast U.S. Day one, same thing. Day two, shifts further east and kind of expands northward a little bit. Again, slight risk of excessive rainfall a little further south along the southeast coast, most of Florida. And then this is day three, which is July 4th. At least according to this map. July 5th through July 7th. This is July 4th through July 5th. July 5th through July 7th. You see, the marginal risk is excessive rainfall along the coast here. That's part of that tropical system that may develop. That'll probably develop, at least I think so, in the coming days. And you can see it moves. Marginal risk of excessive rainfall moves further northeast or north along the coastline there. So usually with tropical systems that are weak like this, or are forecast to be weak, the main threat is heavy rainfall, which I already talked about. But again, we can look at the multi-day precipitation outlook here from WPC. Kind of a busy map, but you get what's going on here. Day 1 through 2, really heavy rainfall just off the coast here, and then the west coast of Florida, most of Florida really. Day 1 through 3, it just shows the total amount of precip really close to the coastline there, and we're approaching 5 inches in western Florida at this point. 5 days out, the focus shifts to the northeast, hugging the coastline here, and then still, you know, a lot of rain out there. So like right around the coastline here, I think is the biggest threats. If you go through the single day, um, one day at a time here, you get a better idea where the most rain's going to be each day. So the heavy rain along West Florida coast is going to subside some, um, 3 days from now, but I don't think it's going to totally end. Where the biggest focus will be, at least at the forecast, right off the coast here. What's driving this? Upper level water vapor loop um, shows that cold front had passed through and kind of cleared out things at the lower levels. Very dry air uh, at the lower levels and mid levels, just off the up to the coastline here. So if and there's also a complex pattern off the coast here where this is supposed to form the storm, and this interaction with the dry air and this complex evolution out here is probably why there's not going to be a lot of development, because if you look at global models, you look at they typically like to tropical system typically like to have a high pressure system aloft over top of it. See the trough building in here, pinching off. And there's this really interesting flow going this way. A lot of shear right there. It's a pretty strong winds. And you have the upper level low forming just to the west here. And the environment, if it can form in this area here, looks like some divergence going on right here, and that's probably where it's gonna develop. It can form in here. I think this flow might help it deepen a little bit, but it's not gonna stay like that forever. This develops into a closed low just to the north of it. You can have to wonder if that's. Let's look at the. Here's your reflection on the surface according to the GFS model um, of that system right here. You'd see not very strong winds, especially on the east side, 20-30 knots possibly, which is 30-40 miles an hour off the coast. If you continue to, it weakens. It kind of just stays there. It's indicating some possibly stronger winds on the western side. Interesting. This model is showing it deepened quite a bit, which is let's just take a look. This is the operational run of the GFS, and it's showing it strengthening as it moves away from the coast. Interestingly enough. Let's take a look. And this would likely be let's take a look and see what happens here with this model. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. It shows a deepening to possibly a hurricane GFS model. Let's look at the European operational run just to see what it thinks. Um, it's showing a totally different, go back, totally different outcome here. It's showing it lifting off to the northeast, and being caught up in the flow way up here. Let's look at the Canadian, see what it thinks. It shows something in between here. So I'm not sure if even that's the same thing. Let's take a look. Anyway, you get the idea. The GFS is certainly the most bullish in what it does with this circulation. It kind of keeps it. Of course, these waters along the Gulf and the Gulf Stream are very warm, and it wants to strengthen it and move it. Well, this way. So either way, if it does develop and move up the coast like the European or Canadian model shows, then it's going to be weaker. If it does move out to sea like this, the GFS is talking about, then it could strengthen some, which is an interesting scenario to consider. I'm hesitant about the GFS and it being so bullish on things. So we'll just have to see what happens in the coming days. It could be Category 1 hurricane if this model's right. Weak Category 2. Anyway, the main theme here is heavy rain, possibly some gusty winds along the coast. Might ruin your holiday weekend. Sorry, folks. As far as sensible weather for the continental U.S., let's take a look. Latest run of the conventional land model, the HER. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired this morning. So it shows what we're talking about here. A lot of precip offshore, which we've been talking about. Plenty of rain in the desert southwest and Texas and upper Midwest, like we talked about, and possibly some showers developing in the southeast. Very scattered, isolated today. You look at the southeast. Not a lot. Let's go back a couple runs to the run that goes 48 hours out. Everybody wants to know the 4th of July, what's going to happen. So, go through time here. I don't think it's really going to be a washout along the west coast of Florida. But as the day goes on, you're going to get sea breeze interactions, a lot of moisture around. So, just plan your day accordingly. It's not going to be like raining all day. Doesn't look like. maybe along the coast here, maybe just along the immediate coast of Florida. And take this for what it's worth. It's 48 hours out, so it's not a specific forecast. If you're planning to go on the beach, um, just see what the forecast is for that day. Or listen to my video and I'll post about it. I think it remains to be seen whether or not this is laid on the 4th, whether or not we get a lot of rain on the coast here. See what happens if the system develops or not. But the upper Midwest is going to be pretty active with severe weather, things like that. That being said, this will be the last thing I talk about is the severe chances in the coming days. So we have a categorical risk and marginal risk. Oh, sorry. 2% tornado risk up here in North Dakota. 10%, 50% wind risk in the Northeast, which is really interesting because it's kind of unusual. And these are all 5% risk of wind. Hail risk with, again, in the Northeast, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota. With hatched area, so 10% significant hail risk in the hatched area up here. So watch out up there. Day 2. Is there nothing? Wait, no hail risk. Sorry. Categorical risk. Marginal risk in that area. Tornado risk. 2%. Wind risk. 5%. Nothing else. That's pretty interesting. Thunderstorms. A lot of different places. But I hope what I've given you all today was helpful for the holiday weekend. If you want a point forecast for a certain area, I'll be happy to get that for you and send it to you on social media, wherever you want it. It's relatively easy to do, but I'd be happy to do it for the 4th of July. Obviously, I can't do every location in the United States, but I'll be happy to help if y'all want it. Hope y'all have a good day.